Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, I did want us to talk about this. We talked about it a little bit on our live, and we do have a live every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you come check us out, where you get the opportunity to give your thoughts and opinions on different boxing topics as well. But but we talked a little bit about Keyshawn Davis and Abdullah Mason. Now, to me, Jay, Keyshawn seems to be getting more of the fanfare, right? Because Keyshawn is the one with the mouth. Keyshawn is the one with the famous trainer in Bomac, and Keyshawn is the one that is calling any and everyone out. And I think he is making himself relevant, and therefore people feel like he's on a higher trajectory than Abdullah Mason. But I'm not sure if that's the case. Now, we know that recently Keyshawn Davis called out Gervonta Davis. He's called out Teofimo Lopez, the bigger names in and around 135 pounds to 140 pounds. And it seems like the general consensus in our Discord is that that Keyshawn is on the higher trajectory, right? That he is possibly the better fighter right now, right? We know he's not going to get an opportunity to fight any of those guys. Gervonta Davis is not going to be interested in fighting a Keyshawn Davis. Teofimo Lopez is not going to be interested in fighting a Keyshawn Davis, and it's not for fear of his skill set, more so that he is not a known commodity, right? At this point, I think he only has 11 fights, but for whatever reason, he is deemed to be the higher or the better prospect, if you will. Now, when I compare him to Abdullah Mason, I actually think Abdullah Mason is the better prospect. He has, number one, he has more fights. But he's just not a guy that's out there talking a lot, right? How many times have you heard from Abdullah Mason? I haven't seen him on anybody's YouTube channel. I haven't seen an interview from him. I heard that, they are leery. People in this camp may be a little bit leery about him doing interviews, right? So we don't hear a lot from him. So everything that we're basing our opinions on is based off of what we see out of him in the ring. And we're not influenced by all the talk, right? I'm not influenced by the fact that he has, that he doesn't have a famous trainer in his corner. By famous, I mean somebody like Bomac or Derrick James or someone with the last name Mayweather or Buddy McGirt or, whoever, right? And so, but when you look at what he's doing in the ring against similar opponents, Abdullah Mason is the real deal. I mean, got every skill that you would want out of a fighter, and he's been demonstrating and displaying those skills. And I just personally feel that if they were to match up today, Abdullah Mason versus Keyshawn Davis, personally, I would take Abdullah Mason. I think he's the better, more complete fighter. I think he has more power. And I think he probably put Keyshawn away, honestly. Well, I won't say he would put Keyshawn away, but it would be a great fight between those two individuals, Jay. So personally, I think right now Abdullah Mason is the better fighter. He just doesn't have the better team. He doesn't have the better marketing. He's not the mouthpiece that Keyshawn Davis is, and therefore he's not perceived to be the better prospect currently. That's just my personal opinion. Jay, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I will give Keyshawn this credit on this. If it wasn't for Abdullah Mason, he would have had the most exciting fight on Saturday night. Because although he didn't get Buddy up out of there, he was piecing him up and he was having fun. He was being entertaining. And he did say, he's like, if he don't get the knockout, he's going to make sure it's going to be an entertaining fight. I give him credit on that for trying to do that because we know his best friend doesn't do that.
He did get hurt in the second round too, though.
Oh, he did. He definitely did. That's because he likes to fight. He says he really don't care about defense, although he says he has good defense, but he just likes to fight. That can be good and bad. It's very entertaining. So people are really definitely going to because people weren't sitting down when he was fighting. They were standing up. They were intrigued. He was looking at fans and everything, having fun out there. With that being said, Abdullah Mason, like to your point, he's not really a mouthpiece like that. He lets his action talk for him. And in the ring right now, the way he's been fighting, it's been talking a lot. It's been talking just as much as Keyshawn outside of the ring. So those two will be an intriguing matchup. Two young guns fighting each other. That'll be awesome. People will definitely be entertained to see that. And right now, just the way Abdullah Mason is handling things, his speed, his counter punching, he's actually not just backing up. He's actually slipping and ducking and doing everything when people do try to attack him. I mean, I'm liking what he's saying. I think he's on a better trajectory on Keyshawn because he is getting those knockouts while doing the same thing that Keyshawn's doing is for talking. That's one thing that Keyshawn missing right now. He's not getting the KOs to really get more people into it, but he's been entertaining. So he's definitely has that on him. But Abdullah Mason, man, that kid is just, it's like he was a hidden gem for whatever reason to the mainstream media because Top Rank wasn't putting him on the main cards. They had him before the main card was televised, and we sitting there like, hey, put Mason on there. He's box office right now, man. He's what you want to see. You know, Keyshawn did a really good job as well, entertaining, but Mason's like, if they're smart to get on the Mason train, they should. And they can definitely promote both of them because they're both with Top Rank. They can promote both of them and hopefully make them fight in a mega fight for the prospects. You know, who's the better prospect. And even whoever loses, you're still going to have that second best guy in 135 as far as the prospects goes on your side. So this is something they should definitely do. They need to promote Mason better because Mason is not a mouthpiece like Keyshawn Davis or anyone else like that. But his work in the ring speaks for itself to me. So, I mean, I think he's a better prospect than Keyshawn, but Keyshawn talking helps him sell. You know, he sells like he's kind of like AB, but he's letting his hands go in the ring, unlike AB did back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, they're both really good, but I think Mason is on a higher level than Keyshawn.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see. We don't hear anybody talking about these two fighters potentially fighting in the ring next, right? I mean, they are the two future prospects at 135 pounds when you really think about it, right? Frank Martin is almost 30. Gervonta Davis is almost 30. Shakur Stevenson is 27 years old. And those are the three outside of those two. And Zepeda, how old is Zepeda?
He's probably like around 27.
You know how old is Zepeda?
Let's see.
Yeah. So there's not I mean, those two definitely are the future of that division, but we don't hear a lot about those two colliding for whatever reason, and that's interesting to me. Why aren't we hearing about Abdullah Mason and Keyshawn Davis at some point colliding? You could be building that up today, talking about the two future fighters of the next couple of years at 135 pounds. Yet we don't hear Top Rank talking about this at all. Tie these two names together. They're so big. And this is what I don't understand about Top Rank. They're so good at tying their fighters to other fighters and other promoters with other promoters because those other promoters do a lot better job at promoting African American fighters. Even Shakur Stevenson here recently said that Top Rank does not do a good job at promoting African American fighters. In reality, we have been saying that for quite some time. Of course, we were criticized when we said it. I guess it'll be the gospel for those who are Shakur Stevenson fans now that he's saying it. But they do such a great job with tying their fighters to those fighters. But you got two under your own banner. Why aren't you tying those two names together for a potential fight in the future? Because that could be box office later on. So it's quite interesting to me in that they are not actually pushing for that and or promoting that currently. At least little dropping little nuggets, tying them in bit by bit, so that you can push for a fight like that in the future. So quite interesting. But I think Abdullah Mason, I think he's slightly better than Keyshawn Davis in my opinion right now. And I can't wait to see where both of their careers go in the future, Jay.
Yeah, no,
Did you find out how old Zepeda was?
Zepeda's 28.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 28. So to your point, those Keyshawn, I mean, Mason is only 20. And that kid, he keeps going in his trajectory. He has a chance to be special. He definitely has a chance to be special. You know, Keyshawn talks a great game, Hold
on, Keyshawn like 25, isn't he?
He's 25.
Hold on, isn't Keyshawn like 25?
Yeah, I believe Keyshawn's
Keyshawn going to have to deal with him at some point.
Yeah.
And he's the only have 10 fights. Abdullah Mason is 20 and has 14 fights, if I'm not mistaken. Keyshawn is 25 and only has 11. Wow.
Yeah.
I think Keyshawn going to have to deal with him at some point, man.
Sooner than later, yeah. Especially if Keyshawn wants to be the champ. I mean, I think they're going to outgrow 135 within the next year or two anyway. But they're going to have to see each other either at 135 or at 140. They're going to see each other sooner than later, I believe. I think it'll be a great fight. And that's what Top Rank has an opportunity to have two dynamic fighters at 135, 140 with these two young guys here. Keyshawn, he annoys me at times with his antics on Twitter and talking, but in the ring, I give him credit. He was entertaining that last fight. He was entertaining. Granted, the guy was right there to be hit and everything, but he did what he was supposed to do with a guy like that. The only thing he didn't do is get the knockout. So I respect and appreciate Keyshawn for doing that, trying to be entertaining. But Mason, man, Mason don't even talk much, and he was entertaining. You just sitting there, just like you see something in this kid. But I mean, of course, he's stepping up in competition. So we'll see when they both step up the competition again. Hopefully, eventually fight each other in the near future. But those are two really good prospects, and I think Mason has edged out Keyshawn. If he talked like Keyshawn, he'd be like way levels above Keyshawn in that aspect there because he's getting more people to watch him. But his ring work is definitely top notch for a prospect right now.
Exactly. So you guys tell us what you think in the comment section in regards to this matchup or these two prospects. Who's the better prospect in your opinion? Keyshawn Davis, Abdullah Mason. Let us know. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, and we are out.